Hey players, welcome back to another Amateur 8-Ball Breakdown with Ben Myers. In this video I'm trying a new format. Let me know what you think. Again, I'm an APA level 6 and I'd love to hear from you guys if you got any questions or comments. Let's get into this match. Alright, player 1 gets the break. As you can see, nothing quite makes it on the break. It's a pretty good break, nice spread. Player 2 goes for this 15 in the corner, makes it with a nice smooth shot. After that, he goes for the 11 in the side, and it just comes up a little bit short. So right here, he leaves himself, I think had he made that 11, he'd have been in a pretty good position to knock a couple more balls off the table, possibly if he makes this 14 and then comes back out into the middle of the table to do something with this 9. And not even sure what ball that is there. But, so player 1 gets back at the table to shoot this 2-3, breaks it up, leaves a little bit of a defense by leaving the ball down the table. Player 2 goes for this 14, I think it was, or the 10 in the corner here. That's what it was. It was the 10. I think he was going for it in the corner, and it hit off that 9. And right here, player 1's going to try and make this 2 in the corner, and it comes up a little short there. And, it leaves player 2 in a tough position, though. The only thing he really has is this 11 ball up the table, and the 4's got him blocked, so he doesn't really have a lot of options. So I think he just goes for a legal hit here. And as you can see, that's what he goes for. He makes a fine hit, but it doesn't do a whole lot as far as, leaving a good shot for player 1, and which is okay. That's good. That's a nice defense. But there we get another defense from player 1 towards player 2, and player 2 has to go for this 9 ball. And, that combination doesn't quite work out. It's a hard cut shot. And, the ball gets left over here. Kind of a tough squeeze on that too, but if he gets this ball out and makes this, gets this ball out here in the open, he might be able to sink this 6 ball, probably get that 1 to 4, maybe end up with a good shot at 3. Could get a nice little run going there. So we'll see what player 1 chooses to do here. And he grabs the bridge to make this 2. But he hits it a little bit too hard. The shot didn't drop anyway, but that scratch hurts a little bit. And here, I don't know, player 2 goes for this combination to open up after that ball in hand. Don't know if I'm the biggest fan of that. But he manages to knock one in, knock another in there. But then he has to go down the table for this 11. And now he's, kind of in a tough spot. He has to shoot long-range shots. Hard to get the finesse you need on that. And you'll see here the cue ball just does not come out as far as he would have liked. He needed it to come more out to here so he could get a good shot. He gets stuck in a tough position. And so ends up here, he ends up having to go off the rail first. I don't know if he could have touched it and just didn't quite touch it, but he hits the rail first. He still gets a legal hit, which is good. And then, yeah, so player 1's back at the table. And right here, we just have a little series of misses, just not making the shots. This one ball kind of whiffs around in the corner. I think that's kind of one of those 2 straight on kind of things. He tries to do a little bit of English or something to get the ball to move out of the way, and he didn't like it, I don't think. And right here, you can see the way he bends. And then we get a little bit of a defensive shot here, I believe. The ball just has to hit the rail, and that's it. So that's a good legal hit. It doesn't really leave good shape. So player 2 goes for a little bit of a bank shot. Doesn't quite, it didn't go. It didn't make it back to the other side. And here goes this daggone 1 ball for player 1 again. And I think that's just a straight-on shot issue. He just didn't want to shoot the ball straight on. You got to use some bottom English and hit it more firm. And right here, again, they're just kind of whiffing these balls, and I don't know if it's just not focused or not into it or what, but yeah, so that 1 and 9 was giving both of these guys a lot of trouble. Right here, player 1's going to shoot the 7, And that would have set him up nice. I think he would have liked for his cue ball to be a little more here, but he needed to make that. He could have put together a little run. And a bank shot on the 9. The cue ball just gets back in the way on the way back over. And now player 1 gets a good shot here at the 4 ball. And that goes fine. But the cue ball, again, ball speed, it just, either needed to come more or stay up this way. But I think he ends up right here. It stops right there. It hits the rail first, which is just amazing. It hits the rail first. I don't know if that was the intended shot or what. In live action, I thought it hit the 6 first, but it hits the rail first. Cue ball goes over here to get the 7. The 6 and the 2 go spread out across the table, and it ends up turning out pretty good. All right, so now the player 1 has a shot, and he's going to take this 3 ball to the corner, but that's a long range shot. He misses it just a little bit there. And that puts player 2 back at the table. Now, player 2, I think, just needs to get a legal hit right here, and he does. And it kind of comes back this way. I don't know, maybe he could have come off the other side of that to block up this corner over here from that little cluster of balls that's right here. And then you see player 1 just looks like a defensive shot. Player 2 doesn't have really any choice but to try to go after this 9, I think, here. And he breaks it up. Maybe he could have just hit it a little softer. Would have been good. And then player 1 comes in, and you can't see, but that 1 ball, he's just going to knock that in real quick. And then that lines him up pretty good for for a little bit of a run here. He's got a lot of balls out here in the open. And he sinks that 2. That's a nice little cutback for the 2. I think it would have been nice if the cue ball would have cleared that 6, but, that happens sometimes. And that's a tough cut shot. He just misses it a little bit there. Lucky not to scratch right here. And that puts player 2 back at the table. He's going to take this 9 in the corner. He gets himself in a little bit of a tight squeeze against that rail. It would have been nice if he had come back out just a little bit more. Maybe he could have worked on a breakout here. When he shoots his 12 right here, the cue ball doesn't come out. He ends up stopping here. He needed to come all the way out here to the open table, and maybe he would have had a shot this way or a bank shot to come back over to this corner or something like that. But he ends up, as you'll see here, he ends up just coming up real short, and he has to try and just graze that 8 ball. And that's, you're in a position where that's a tough shot. It can be done, but, making it's a whole nother story. I don't think that's a makeable ball anyway, but he ends up clipping that 5 ball first and giving player 1 ball in hand right here. Now player 1's going to take this 3 to the side with this ball in hand. Now, see, I don't know if I like that. I think I would have tried to come off that rail a little bit more. But, he's off the rail enough to be fine. He's going to go for this 5 ball, but he hits it real hard and he's off target. But it almost comes back up, goes in this corner up here. But, he'd have been okay, I think, to finish that out. But now player 2 has to go for the bank. Well, I think that's probably the better option anyway, but he misses it. He did hit it kind of hard, but he definitely just was a little offline. Now player 1's going to try to get this 5 in the corner here. And that goes fine, but he leaves himself in a real tight spot. That cue ball, I don't think, went where he expected it to. But he plays it like a smooth criminal here and freaking gets a nice defensive shot. After a little timeout, player 2 goes for what should have been a nice defensive shot. A little bit harder. The cue ball would have come out here. That 8 ball would have been a little closer to the 6, I think, Or even the cue ball would have been fine kind of where it is if the 8 ball would just come a little bit harder and stuck behind that 6 in any way, shape, or form to where that legal hit would have been a little more of a struggle. Either way, that would have been, about the best option, I believe. So player 1's going to go for this 6 up the corner. And that goes smoothly, but that cue ball took off a little hard, I think. I think that shot was a little harder than it had to be. And he leaves himself stuck to the rail. This is kind of a tough shot down here to the corner. And he overcuts it. and it comes all the way out here, instead of coming down the rail here. And he leaves player one a good option to go for this 8 ball right around here up to this corner. I know y'all can't see that, but there you go. And he misses that 8 ball, and then player one drains his bank. I mean, he absolutely drains it center of the pocket. Beautiful bank shot, and game over. All right, here we go with game two. Player one breaks, and it looks like, again, nothing goes on the break. Balls are decently spread out. There's a little bit of a cluster right in this area. Player two just hits this ball short, just not enough gas to get there. And that results in ball in hand for player one. Go take the 3 in the side there. I think he goes for the 2 here, maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah, there you go. 2 in the side. And the 4 in the side. Got a nice setup right here for the 1 in the corner. You can see in there a little bit. And that falls. Now he's kind of in a little bit of a tough spot. He's got this 7 ball stuck. I think he's going to try and cut this 6. And it nicks off that 8 ball, and that's just enough to throw him out of whack. Now player two's back at the table. Looks like he's going to try and cut this. I believe that's the 13. And he comes up short. And this leaves player one with some nice shots here. I think he puts together a real nice run. Gets that 5 ball. I think he's going to take this 7 up to the corner. In this part here, it seems like player one is just kind of getting like a momentum swing more than anything. Now he gets a 6 in this corner. He kicks that ball out of the way. I don't know if that was intentional, but it definitely doesn't hurt because now he's got a straight in, wide open 8 ball to this corner pocket here. And just like that, game two is over fast. And player one gets the break again. Wow, that almost scratched. And this looks like, the 12 ball maybe? Last thing moving except for the cue ball. It falls in the corner there. Player one's going to go for that. I think that's the 14 over to the side. Almost scratches again there, but barely misses with both of those. Player two just completely misses the 2 ball there in the side. Back to player one. I think he's going for that 10, I think, in the corner there. And yeah, just kind of shot that a little straight on. Didn't quite cut it at all. Player two gets a nice shot at the 5 straight up the rail. That was nice. Could have come out a little further to the middle of the table. Still had a shot at the 2, just barely misses it. Back to player one. Got that 14 sitting right in the side pocket. I think he was trying to come back to be able to get that, the 15 here close to the rail or something, but he got stuck behind that 3. Kind of hurt him a little bit, but no problem to get a legal hit and bust those balls that cluster up a little bit. Player two is going to take this 11 or 1 ball and just misses it just a little bit. It's a long shot down the table. So back to player one. He's got this 9 ball sitting in the corner, a little duck. I'll take that out, but he didn't really set himself up for much afterwards. I think he's going to go for that 11 ball, and yeah, no, that wasn't what I was expecting. He did I don't know, some kind of a weird combination there, but he busted him up a little bit at least. And then player two just misses the 4 in the corner. Player one's back at the table. He takes the 15 over and just kind of clogs that corner up. Don't think there was much chance of that going either way. It'd have been tough. And that 1 ball just didn't get cut, and the cue ball sits in the pocket. That's a long shot. I think he just hit that 13 and kind of knocked some of that stuff free again. And that player 2 made a real nice shot at that 7 up the table. Couldn't really see it, but it was a nice shot. And then cuts that 4 in the corner. Was nice, but now he's kind of in a little bit of a predicament. Doesn't really have a good shot afterwards. Tries to cut that 1. And yeah, he rattled it around the pocket a little bit and just kind of come back out of there. And then player 1 gets a nice, double hit on that 10 for it to follow that 2 in. And you see there, he was stuck up against the rail and the ball and stuff, so he had to kind of jump it up. He had to use a bunch of English, and that ball almost jumped off the table a little bit. And player 2 gets the 1 in the corner. And he just barely overcuts that 3, just enough to miss it. Now player 1's back at the table. I think he's going for that 13. No, he was going for a combination, and he just didn't quite get the right angle on that 15 with the 13. Now player 2's got a shot here at the 6. Misses that a little bit. Yeah, now we're back at player 1 shooting at that 15 again up there in the corner, kind of sitting there like a duck. And that falls. No problem. Then he's got to get on this 13. I don't know if I like the way he's crawling up on the table there. He probably should have just used a bridge or something. Might have made that shot a little easier for him. And you could tell he didn't really like that shot, and it hung up on him there in the corner. So now player 2 is going to shoot this 3 ball up to the corner. And he misses that just a little bit. Again, these guys are just struggling with these kind of long range, not too hard of a cut, but they just missing those cuts a little bit. So their player 1 knocks that 13 out, but he does not get a good shot here. And I don't know exactly what the plan was there, but he just shoots straight into his opponent's ball and gives him ball in hand. So player 2 is going to take this 3 down the table. And he almost whiffed that a little bit. It come out a little further than he wanted it to, but it fell. Rattled around for a second, but it fell. Now he's got that 6 towards the side. And he drains that, and he gets a real nice shot at the 8 ball afterwards. And then he's going to take this 8 ball into the corner, and that's it. Game 3. All right, here we go. Game 4. Player 2 gets the break. I don't think anything gets in the hole there. Player 1 looked like they're shooting the 14. Yep, that goes. No problem. Now the 15. A couple of easy shots. Watch out for that scratch, though. Oh, Lord, it went. Player 1 gets the 6 in the side after that. There you go. I might have said player 1. I think that's player 2 right there. Oh, that one about didn't go, but it did. Putting together a nice little run. I think he's going to try to get this 3 right here. He makes a nice cut there with the bridge. Now that leaves him open for a pretty nice run from there. At least down to the 8 ball. All of these balls are makeable for sure. I think I'd try to get that 5, then the 7, then the 2. He just missed that cut a little bit. Overcut it just a hair. Now player 1's back and just misses that 9 to the side. Player 1's going for the 2. I think I might have tried to get that 5 first, but go with what makes you more comfortable sometimes. And here's the bridge again to try and get this 7 ball. That was a nice cut with the bridge. This table's getting cleared out pretty quick. 5 falls, but he gets stuck bad behind that 11. kick shot for a good legal hit, but he doesn't get it. He hits misses the 8 and hits the 13. His ball in hand. Player 1's going to start making a little run here. As you can see, the table's real nice and open after that run by player 2. Now, right here, I think, player 1 probably should have used this bridge again instead of trying to stretch over the table the way he did. But he gets that ball to fall and leaves himself in a pretty tough situation. But he goes for a defensive shot right here and just sets the ball down on the other end of the table, try to use that 12 to block from the 8. So player 2 is trying to hit this 8 ball. Gets a nice legal hit, but sometimes that can be real risky. But he's got it set up nice if he can get another chance at it. It's just waiting to be knocked down in the corner there. So player 1 comes in here and plays that smooth criminal role again and does a nice defense with his 10 ball. Look at that. Just sits it right back there. That's a great defense. You couldn't ask for that to be a better defense for a skill level 3 to line that up and set that shot up the way he just did. That's a beautiful thing right there. That's what you want out of those lower levels. You want them to shoot those good defenses like that. That could be the difference. Player 2 gets a legal hit on the 8. It's nice. Now you can't see what's going on here, but he makes that. Player 1 makes that. I think that was the 10 in the side there, or no, the 12. That's what it was, the 12. And then he gets that 10 that was sitting down there in the corner that he lined up nicely with that defense. Right here, he's just got to cut this 11, and he puts himself in a real good position. He uses a little English and a little speed to get back out of there. Now, he's still got to make a nice cut on this 8, but that's definitely a makeable shot. And there it is. Player 1 finishes the match. All right, players, don't forget to get those handshakes and fist bumps out there to show your appreciation. And I'd appreciate it if you'd like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Catch you in the next one. As you can see, there's a lot of new stuff going on in this one. And, yeah, I hope you guys like some of the new stuff. I know it's kind of a hot mess right now, but we're going to get it back together real soon. I tried something new this week and just had a lot going on personally as well. So we'll get it together, but, I had to kind of move to a little bit better of a format, I think, and hopefully it'll all work out in the long run.